In India, leaders of the world's largest economies are at this year's G20 meeting in New Delhi. President Biden, who's due to arrive in a few hours, plans to focus on worldwide economic growth and rising food and energy prices. Ed O'Keefe is at the summit before the president, no doubt. Of course he is. Ed, good morning. Really good to see you.
Good to see you, Anne Marie. The president is, as you said, just a few hours from landing. He tested negative for COVID-19 before leaving the White House yesterday. Of course, the First Lady had tested positive earlier in the week, so there were concerns about that. And while the president is here for the G20, there's been a lot of focus so far on who's not attending. China's Xi Jinping and Russian President Vladimir Putin both sending their foreign ministers instead of showing up themselves. Putin, of course, is preparing to meet in the coming days with Kim Jong-un about a possible North Korea-Russia arms deal for the ongoing war in Ukraine. Also not attending this year or speaking to the group is Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. And Ukraine isn't a member of the G20, but he did address the group virtually last year at the invitation of the host country, Indonesia. This year, India hasn't invited them because they are officially neutral on matters regarding the war in Ukraine. But the G20 is about the world's largest economies, and so this is less a conversation about war and peace and more a conversation about issues of dollars and cents, things like global development, climate change, and the president's favorite topic these days, infrastructure. He is set to meet with the Indian Prime Minister tonight. They'll have a meeting before the official conference gets underway tomorrow. This whole visit by the president is designed to keep more focus on Asia as he tries to pivot away from other parts of the world. So he'll meet with Modi tonight, have those conversations with other members of the G20, and on Sunday is headed to Vietnam, a country whose leaders are eager to establish a stronger partnership with the United States amid growing threats from China. Anne Marie?
And as you know, Ed, over the past several years or so, India has really emerged as a bit of an economic force, perhaps an alternative to China for many, many businesses. And I want to just play some sound from Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen. She spoke about prioritizing the U.S. relationship with India.
Last but not least, continuing to advance the U.S.-India relationship will be a priority this week. We highly value our bilateral relationship with India. In fact, this is my fourth time in India over the last year, making it the country I visited most frequently as Treasury Secretary.
So why is a relationship with India so crucial right now? And also, you know, India has a decent relationship with Russia. So how could this change India's ties with Russia?
Well, that's part of what this is about, Anne Marie, at least in a security sense, is the hope is to keep India from helping Russia anymore, either economically or through military means, and keep that officially neutral stance at the least. At best, get them to start criticizing Russia and perhaps take sides in that war. It refuses to do so far. Two other big reasons why the United States is interested in this place, though. It is now the world's most populous country, surpassing China just in April. And it's now the fifth largest economy, surpassed the United Kingdom about a year ago. So this is a place on the rise. Why wouldn't the United States, at least in an economic sense, want to be doing more business with India? But at a time when China seems to be isolating itself, is threatening its neighbors, is seen by the business community as a less palatable place to be doing business, India is seen now as a stronger alternative. And it's part of why the United States is so eager to be here as often as the Treasury Secretary is, and now finally to have the President here. And remember, the two leaders have spoken 10 times already since President Biden took office, either in person or virtually. But it was, in essence, the president's turn to come over to Modi's house, if you will. It's like with your relatives when, you swap who does the holidays. The president owed Prime Minister Modi a visit, so that's why he's here. And then we'll continue on to Vietnam on Sunday.
All right. Ed O'Keefe, thank you so much.